On January 24, 1848, a carpenter named James W. Marshall discovered a new gold mine near Coloma. The news spread like wildfire. Everyone wanted their piece of the pie. Sailors deserted their ships, soldiers left the army, and farmers abandoned their harvests. They all wanted to try their luck, and the luck would eventually smile upon the man named John Mackay. Between 1851 and 1859, he dug so much, and it paid off. Thanks to the experience he gathered, he discovered a mine in 1873 that made him basically multi-millionaire. I'm telling you the story of someone who succeeded, mainly because that's what everyone remembers. Success is always louder than failure, and losers don't like to tell their stories. We can understand why. Except that history is repeating itself. Not John Mackay's success, no, but the fact that we only show him and not the 99.99% of others who didn't make it. Because in a gold rush, the ones who really get rich will always be the shovel sellers. Likewise, in an AI gold rush, the ones getting rich are the people selling AI businesses training courses. The natural consequence is that today 90% of AI businesses are failures. Out of 10 tools using AI, despite their polished storefronts and magnificent advertisements, only one is actually profitable. The rest do nothing than burn cash until they ruin their owners, if those don't give up fast enough. This is the moment in the video where you tell yourself I'm talking nonsense. You may think that most of the products you see may not be for you, but they are still interesting. There must be some customer base for those, right? And you're right. They have customers, but that's not the problem. The real problems are elsewhere. The field of artificial intelligence is expanding rapidly. What is revolutionary today is obsolete in 1 year. I want to remind you that ChatGPT 3.5 is barely 3 years old to this day. When it came out, it was a true technological revolution. It could not perform any Google research, so its answers were somewhat frozen in time. So today, compared to multimodal models that can create audio, video, images and do research, this model will be simply unusable. That is the biggest problem with AI. If you build a feature around one of its functionalities, whenever the AI becomes capable of doing it without you, your business disappears. In early 2023, when ChatGPT didn't know how to read PDF documents, many businesses were born around this feature. They offered to have ChatGPT read your documents for you. Those who could not just copy and paste their PDF content into ChatGPT chose to trust these businesses. This until ChatGPT itself started being able to read PDFs. Overnight, hundreds of businesses were hurt. ChatPDF, Ask Your PDF, PDF GPT, Data, to name a few. They all had to find another angle to avoid dying. ChatPDF, for example, focused on features that ChatGPT handles poorly, like managing libraries of 1,000 PDFs simultaneously. Ask Your PDF, on the other hand, became an API access tool, closed to the general public. Aside from those two, only remains a vast symmetry of what could have been and will never be. What many tend to forget is that AI creators themselves have interest at bypassing the market to retain users on their own platform. And we're not talking about some domination strategy or whatever. They need to survive. They need to justify those billions they invested in AI. So if a business is easy to replicate, be sure they replicate it. That is why some smarter players like ChatPDF focused on difficult features to ensure a certain monopoly. If it's hard enough to do, creators won't bother doing the same thing, right? And I say very good reasoning. Too bad that you were not the only one thinking about it. Here we have the second reason for AI businesses failure. It's not easy, but it's not exactly hard either. And since everyone has access to the same powerful tools, anyone can create a copy of your business in 1 week of work from their bedroom. And what's funny is, at this level, the business doesn't lose because it's not useful. No, it precisely loses because it is too useful. Too many people had the same idea that was simple enough to reproduce. It could be an AI logo generator, an AI recipe creator, and much more. These apps exist by the hundreds. You have probably already seen a dozen of them, but you only remember the names of the top 3. The rest are simply drowned under the shapeless and fierce mass of competition. No one wants to disappear, so no one is going to shine. Exactly like during the gold rush, as the number of prospectors explodes, the individual chance of success decreases exponentially. This is where some try to stand out even more. They change their basic concept to something very niche, something difficult enough so not to be copied by the first AI big tech company, however niche enough not to have too much competition. Some succeed with varying degrees of success. A calorie tracking app more precise than the others, an AI legal assistant specialized in commercial law. But like in any business, the demand must follow, and that is often where it hurts. You will be surprised, okay, how easy it is to think something is very useful, when in reality, for the vast majority, it's really useless. Or even worse, very useful for everyone, but with low monetization potential. What I mean by the latter is that people might want your service, but are not ready to pay for it. This is what we call the Gadget Effect. Imagine an app that allows you to automatically reply to messages like, "Hello, how are you? You will be cool, right?" It's always the same answer we give, whether we are doing well or not. It's a social convention, completely automatable. Now, how many will be ready to pay $1 a month to use that? You see the problem? It will be cool to have, but not enough to support the financial cost in return. It's a solution to a problem that don't really exist. It was quite difficult to find an example for this category, but I came across RizzGPT during my research. The concept is simple. If you don't know how to flirt, let's do it. Okay, you're going to impress the girl, fine, but when you're going to meet, what are you going to do? What are you going to say? I believe RizzGPT is still active and they must make around 50k to 80k a month. It's not bad, but it illustrates the issue very well. Everyone would like to become a real charmer, but this isn't really the solution, or at least it's a very superficial solution. You have created your business. Users are snatching it up. It's useful, difficult enough so companies are not going to copy it overnight. It's specific enough not to be invisible on the market, but common enough to justify your business plan. And it's still not enough. People subscribe to your service, but they don't come back. They pay or they try, but they don't stay. In other words, they are not satisfied. Your AI or your system around your AI is not just performing well enough, or it's not precise, or not adapted, or some other reason that is crucial in this case. A general AI can answer everything, but it doesn't have the right answer to everything. This is a detail that companies greatly underestimate. Users, you and I, don't like paying to get a generic, soulless answer. This is where you have to personalize your AI, make it adapted and precise for the task, and then test it again and again and again. A bit like LinMailPro. For those who don't know it, it's a tool to automate contact on LinkedIn. The problem is that answers in this kind of thing can quickly seem generic or cliché, and so it completely defeats the initial goal. You certainly initiate more conversation, even faster, but for fewer replies than before. You might have noticed, but some of the examples I've cited so far still exist today. And yes, in business, making a mistake is often not the end at all. You have to adapt, pivot, make changes, listen to trends and the market. For example, let me talk about Palmier.io. Originally, it was a tool to help with coding. Now, it's a tool to make videos with AI. Whether they're profitable or not now is not the question. But they had to find a good ground, build the work, and modify it day after day. Would you be capable of that? Don't get me wrong, this video is not meant to make you give up on your AI business idea, but I just want to tell you, all those gurus who tell you that AI businesses are easy to make and they bring millions every day are lying. AI businesses are, in my opinion, even more complicated and difficult than others, not only for the reasons I mentioned, but for others I avoided to mention because either those are common to all startups, so not only to AI startups, or they will happen later, so you don't have to think about them now. An example of an issue that could happen later is the problem of overcharging. It can happen that your AI costs too much to use because of all the settings you've made. You must be able to anticipate that. To avoid that, you could decide to host your very own model on your own infrastructure. In this case, will it be powerful enough? Will you have the hardware to run it correctly? Add to that the fact that OpenAI is struggling financially and that the AI bubble is about to burst. AI businesses are truly the riskiest right now. If you want to know more about the imminent collapse of OpenAI or the AI bubble, click on the videos appearing on the screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care. Ciao.